Hi, my name is Eric, and here with me is Junyip and Ming, and today we'll be talking about predictable irrationality and how it affects our daily lives.
Alright, so let's start off with a scenario. You're on your way to work and you're at the subway station and you're running late. As you reach for your wallet to pull out your Metro card and swipe, you realize that you left your wallet at home. You can only hop the turnstile or run home to grab your wallet. What do you do?
Well, in that situation, I would jump the turnstile only because going home would take too long, so I would be at risk of getting lectured by my manager and getting fired, or having the small possibility of getting caught and paying a relatively small fine compared to my salary.
Wow, Eric, that's a good rationale, but I didn't know you were such a dishonest person. I would go home and get my Metro card because I am a moral and upstanding citizen of New York, and as a citizen, I would have to pay for my Metro card ride.
Well said, well said. To make up for the loss caused by all the Eric's hopping, the MTA will impose a fare hike. This causes a split between the dishonest Erics of the world and the moral upstanding citizens such as myself and Junyip.
So, Junior, as a consequence of you not jumping the turnstile, you get fired from your job and you can't find another. So you become judged as a poor moral character. You're incompetent and mediocre. Do you think this is a valid prejudgment?
This is not a valid prejudgment. How can I be a poor moral character when I was the one who decided to go home and get my Metro card just so I can pay for the Metro card?
Right.
I mean, yeah, I agree. The weight of the decisions made between the poor and the wealthy class is tremendous. I'm choosing between chicken and beef while he's choosing between eating and staying clean. So at the end of his shopping spree, you can't blame him for grabbing that bag of M&Ms at the checkout. He's made so many heavy decisions that he needs sugar to replenish what ego depletion has taken away.
That's right, mate. I'm glad you understand.
That was a great scenario. So let's move on. Has decision fatigue affected your lives in any ways?
In fact, it has, Eric. At my old job, I would have to sign paperwork all day long. The paperwork eventually became a blur, and I just signed on everything. I wouldn't even read it anymore. When I got home from work, I couldn't even decide if I wanted to eat chicken and broccoli or beef and broccoli for dinner.
Yeah, I definitely know the feeling of not being on side between foods. So my example is when I'm almost at the end of a long test, say a 3-hour final, I get more and more tired as I have to decide between so many answers. So at the end of the test, I just want to get it over with. So with the last couple of questions, I don't put as much thought into it as I did in the beginning.
Hey, at least you're not poor.
So Junyip, tell me about a time when you experienced being in an in-group or an out-group.
This is a very hard memory for me to recall. In middle school, I was one of the only Asian Americans in a predominantly black school. This put me in the out group, and I was constantly bullied. After a year or so, I began trying to mix in with the in group by doing the things that they did.
What kind of things did you do when you joined the in-group?
The things that I did range from stealing to bullying. Bullying was a special case because there was always this one special victim that we had. He was a little weird. He always kept to himself, and no one was really quite fond of him.
Why do you think your behavior changed as you went from being the bullied kid to the bully?
I think it changed because when I joined the in-group, I started to see others as part of the out-group. This made me think of them as different from us, which warped my ethical compass. Ming, I see that there's a board game, organized, ready to play, laid out in front of me, but I have no idea how to play it. The name is Settlers of Catan. Could you please teach me how to play it?
Sure. Settlers of Catan is a board game where you compete with 2 to 3 other players. You gather resources, trade with other players, and build roads and settlements as you try to reach 10 points. The way you gather resources is by rolling numbers where you build your settlements. So the higher the chance of your number coming out, the more resources you will collect.
Alright. So let's say someone gathers an immense amount of resources and points. Would you say that the accumulation of points and resources affects one's behavior?
Yeah, well, I've noticed that as people collect more points, they generally begin to offer more unfair trades. So, say for example, you needed one of my resources, I could bully you into giving me more than what it is actually worth. I've also noticed that they will taunt you with their resources and laugh as they steal yours with night cards. Also, during the next game, if they start losing, they will be much more frustrated than normal.
I see. That gives me a lot of insight as to how the accumulation of power can affect one's behavior. Thank you, Ming.
Predictable irrationality actually runs rampant throughout our lives, but who actually knew that?
None of us knew until we joined this class. Thank you for watching.